Automata is a 27 action RPG developed by Platinum Games and published by Square Enix. The game was praised for its unique combat, emotional story, and world building, as well as its beautiful soundtrack, but does the game deserve its praise? Well, today we'll dive into the world of NieR in order to restore glory to mankind. And to answer the question, should you play NieR Automata? Well, let's find out in this spoiler-free review. Enjoy! Mature, memorable, and meaningful. That's how I would describe the story of NieR A. It's a narrative that focuses on the meaning of life, that has us question the meaning of all things, and how no matter what you are, we all strive to exist with purpose. It's this focus that completely gripped me, which was both unexpected and beautiful. It's not often that a game story can affect me in a way that sticks with me, but this game really captured my heart in multiple ways. Everything down to the last detail was so refined to create an exceptional story that completely surpassed my expectations, producing an emotional tale that will stick with me deep in my soul. In NieR, you experience a story through multiple routes, and in these routes you will experience the narrative through various POVs, which is really creative as this allows you to fill in the blanks at a nice pace with different perspectives. The game is set in a depressing, dull world where humankind no longer lives on Earth, but instead have been forced to take refuge on the moon due to the conflict of alien life forms taking over their planet, leading to Project Yorha being founded, a unit of androids modeled after humans that are sent down to Earth in order to bring an end to the aliens and discover more about the machines that were created by them. You play as 2B, who gets separated from a unit in an abandoned factory. Away from your squad, you encounter a 9S, a scanner unit, and the two quickly work together to eliminate a threat, and that's where the game truly begins. And wow, what an intro. It's action-packed and gets you right into it. It doesn't throw any tutorials at you, and you are forced to learn the mechanics yourself. It hooks you in, and it doesn't let go. You embark on a journey with 2B and 9S as you encounter many mysteries and threats together, as well as form new bonds with allies, the goal to discover the truth behind the conflict and restore glory to mankind, and to free this once thriving world. Of course, there is much more to it than that, but let's just keep it simple for now and spoiler free. I love NieR's unique take on the bloated genre of post-apocalyptic worlds. Instead of the usual barbaric world that you expect from things like Fallout or Rage, you have this lonely, isolated, yet beautiful world that feels almost frozen and lost to time. It completely hooked me within the first hour. The visuals, the presentation, and the music were just perfect, and the initial conflict intrigued me. And when the plot starts to unravel throughout the multiple routes, you gain a sense of intrigue, and you begin to piece together a direct storyline, and you're just left in awe. The characters are skillfully written and make you feel invested in their stories and personal conflict, and it was especially nice to see 2B's and 9S's relationship evolve over time. And it was even more interesting learning about the various other characters in such a short amount of time, having them fleshed out without dragging out the main storyline, with the story sitting at around 25 hours. Also, I thought the way the game switched from being beautiful to disturbing and depressing was genius. I found myself getting invested completely, wishing the best for all of the characters involved, and I heavily respect how much effort was put into building this world. It wasn't just the characters in the story that created the beauty that this world is, but also the various amounts of lore and understanding you gain from the 60 plus side quests throughout your time playing. It's pure masterclass. However, there are a few issues that I'll quickly touch on. Firstly, one of the routes will take you through the same plot points as the first route, however with a few new additions from a different POV, and it's much shorter, but this may turn away some players from getting the full experience as they may not wish to do so. However, I actually enjoyed this part, definitely not as much as the other routes, but I thought it was still great in its own way, and with some great build up for the next route as well, as it revealed some pretty big lore. There are also 26 endings in total, which may turn away a few people, but trust me, you don't need to get every ending. There are 5 important endings, and the other are mostly joke endings or of lesser importance. I also think that some tutorials weren't in the right places, were left out completely, which is fine to me as I love discovering things on my own at my own pace, but for some players this is a big turn off, and this one's more personal for me, but I wish we spent more time playing as a specific character I cannot mention. I felt like she didn't have enough screen time, and I hope there's some more side quests involving her, but again, this doesn't exactly take away from the plot as a whole, just a personal complaint. That's all I can say complaints wise personally, but if you have any complaints of your own, please let me know in the comments, but make sure to keep it spoiler free for other people. One big thing, however, that I love about this game is the fact that once you beat the game, you unlock the ability to reselect chapters to catch up on missed lore and side content, which is absolutely brilliant because this means you could save all of the side content if you prefer that path for the endgame, or you can pace yourself in your own way. Overall, I was completely captured by this stunning yet sorrowful tale that represents the meaning of life and what it means to find your own purpose, and it's yet another game that you could take your own interpretation from, and I think that's truly poetic. And I just want to thank Yoko Taro for the creation of this pure passion-filled piece of art that managed to completely capture my heart and had me completely engrossed in its characters and its world. It affected my emotions in many ways, but none were negative, and I think that's truly something to be proud of. So genuinely amazing work here. And I will be playing the prequel one day out of respect for this masterpiece. And just a tip for anyone considering picking this up, once you beat the game, don't give up on the game, reload your save, that's all I'll say. Trust me, the payoff is 100% worth it. The combat in NieR is a pure adrenaline rush full of thrill that mixes aspects from multiple genres into one perfect blend, leading to an extraordinary recipe, combining both action and hack and slash combat with bullet hell mechanics, which creates a split between modern action and arcade action. It's the perfect blend of classic and new, which forms possibly one of the most unique combat systems I have ever seen. It's fast, fluid, and flashy, with a sense of pure style that makes it completely stand out in a genre of copy and pasted action. I'd describe it as a mix between DMC, MGR, and God Eater, with its high action and variety of ways to play to suit your preferred style. The combat is easy to pick up and the controls are very smooth. Racking up combos whilst evading enemy attacks was just awesome. The cool thing about dodging too is you can also counter-attack, or depending on your equipment, you can slow down time on a perfect dodge. The game also features multiple combat styles depending on what combos you use, usually depending on what buttons are being used, as well as things like charged attacks, parrying, aerial attacks, and unique takedowns, which just further refine this already polished system. But it's not just about button mashing, you also have the bullet hell mechanics. Enemies can shoot multiple projectile orbs at the player, leading to some platforming, shooting, and dodging. Some orbs can easily be destroyed, but crimson orbs need to be destroyed up close and personal. You also have your pod, which allows you to shoot curved bullets at your enemies, raining down hell on them. You can also unlock hacking in a certain route, which allows you to hack into your enemies, entering a hacking minigame from a top-down perspective that's reminiscent of arcade classics, and some of these hacking games can be pretty challenging at times. The game also uses its camera angles to its advantage. Some fights will allow for free traversal, and some will switch to side-scrolling or top-down views. The camera could be your worst enemy at times, but this is still the best and most cinematic use of camera angles I have ever seen. Having multiple weapons up your arsenal and plenty of playstyles to choose from, you aren't limited to the same rinse and repeat combat. It's fun and addicting, and you can play it your way. With epic boss fights, some enemies are the size of mountains, and defeating them just makes you feel a pure rush. The combat system combines many mechanics together, creating an exceptional and exhilarating experience. However, there are a few flaws, so let's go over them. At points, the difficulty of the game is far too easy, even on normal mode. Now, hard mode is a step up for sure, but it's mostly just tankier enemies with more attack damage. Now, this isn't exactly a problem on the surface, but it did lead to some disappointment during some important story fights, as I felt that they were too short, easy, and underwhelming. However, there is some somewhat challenging side content, especially in the endgame. I have also heard many different opinions on the system itself, from other players saying the game is too basic and the combat has nothing to it other than style, but to me that's not entirely true. The combat is passable from a difficulty perspective, and it does its job, but it's definitely not basic by any means. It's well thought out with multiple mechanics, so in my opinion it's more than enough. It's not a Souls-like, nor is it the game's full focus, so I don't really think we needed a deep combat system, because that's not exactly what the main focus here is, it's the storytelling. But that's just my opinion. Your thoughts might vary on the combat, but to me I think it is more than enough without trying too hard. The most important part is that it's fun, even if it may just be a hack and slash. I mean, the game does advertise itself as an action hack and slash game, so you can expect exactly that. However, if you want to go into it with some difficulty, then choose a harder difficulty, but just a little bit of challenge. But in my opinion, the combat does a whole lot without needing to be excessive or bloated. It works for NieR, and I think it's a cool part of its identity. Yes, it may not be challenging, but it's engaging. And just to finish off the combat system, I want to quickly speak about the pod, since it's a feature that doesn't get enough recognition. Firstly, your pod works as your companion, rage weapon, as well as your gear system, so yes, this game has a canon explanation for your gearing and HUD, which is sick. Your pod can be changed with multiple slots for various builds and chips to use, and the best part is, if you're struggling on what to use, there is an automatic equip button, which is highly player friendly. I love this system. Not only is it cool, but it's simple and to the point. I appreciate the fact that your HUD is also tied to your pod chips, so you can unequip things like your HP bar, your map, and things like that. Are just highly immersive and just a nice addition. As I mentioned earlier, NieR comes with 60 plus side quests for you to complete. Some are simple fetch quests and will have you searching for new areas, others will have you fight a new enemy, and some will unveil some lore, making them necessary to experience if you want to grasp the full details of the world. These side quests are pretty good, they aren't anything special by any means, but there were a few highlights and I found myself enjoying them. Some are only available at specific points and others can only be accessed under certain conditions, which is where that chapter reselect feature comes in handy, and honestly, that's just about all I could say. They are side quests and they do it right. They don't take too much time and they aren't dialogue dumps. I did really like two quests in specific though. There was one where you needed to move crates to grab cargo, like a little puzzle, and there was another where you have to train a weird robot into becoming an ultimate fighter. Overall, a fun experience. There's also a few other side activities that consist of hidden boss fights, arena challenges, and fishing, the first two being great, with one of the hidden bosses being a genuinely hard and unique fight, but the fishing generally was a huge disappointment. As a massive fan of fishing minigames and RPGs like Trails and East, this system is bad. It's not poorly designed or broken or anything, it's just boring. You sit there, you wait, you click a button, you got the fish. It's uninspired, but honestly, I can look past it because it's not a big focus and there's not any side quests involving it. NieR also features a somewhat open world that at first starts off limited, which may turn away players from its emptiness, but as you progress, the map opens up with new areas, chests, hidden locations, and quests. Honestly, the exploration isn't overly complex or bloated, it's got the right amount of content, and it's just relaxing, though it is pretty tedious to begin with, as fast travel isn't unlocked until later on in the game, so moving from location to another can feel slow at times, but once you unlock more traversability abilities like fast travel and the ability to mount animals, the game does become a whole lot more satisfying progression-wise. Some chests and areas can only be accessed at certain points in the game, and some already existing locations may change depending on what chapter you are in. Some have minor changes, but some locations will change drastically, making the world feel alive, and you feel the effects of story events on the environments. The world isn't overly large, and there isn't a lot to do, but there's just enough content here, though I do feel like there could have been more puzzles and something else added here and there. Either way, it's a satisfying gameplay loop that gets better over time. NieR is beautiful in multiple ways. The art style, the desolate yet picturesque world taken over by nature, the character designs, the story and the music, and they all complement each other to create the perfect canvas. The environments are genuinely stunning. The abandoned isolated city feels both lonely and calming. The world has ended, but it's very much alive in other ways. The desert is open, empty, but looks gorgeous as you see the effects of civilization abandoning Earth and how landscapes will change with the aftermath. This game is genuinely beautiful, from the environments to the ambient sound design. Another cool thing is how the world transitions smoothly from green and luscious scenery to dark and gloomy with no color to be seen, just dark tones, especially in space. The soundtrack adds to the beauty of this world, with calming music during exploration but ends abruptly when there's a threat, and the music switches in an instant. Also, just a cool addition is the fact that no matter where you are, hacking an enemy, the background music will turn into a 16-bit arcade version of the very same song, which is just awesome. There is everything you could want here, from ambience to the weird and wacky to climatic and cinematic. Sorrowful melodies and sci-fi tunes. This soundtrack is a genuine 10 out of 10 and is on the same level as Clair Obscur to me. This game is a piece of art and I can't fully put into words how much I love it, so let's move on to the final verdict. NieR Automata completely blew me away with its mature and painfully realistic message, fun and engaging mechanics, stunning aesthetic, exceptional soundtrack, and perfect story. This game is truly one of the greatest games of all time, so I'll be giving NieR Automata a 100% on the revs meter, and to be honest, it exceeds 100%, at least for me. Even with its flaws, it's truly a masterclass in storytelling. This game is now part of me and I will forever remember it. This is an easy recommendation. If you have any feedback or criticism, let me know in the comments. I really appreciate it, and I strive to create the best possible reviews. And if you like the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, it really helps. And a huge thank you to Cherry Android for the thumbnail artwork inspired by 9S. He deserves a whole lot more recognition for his work, so go give him some love on Instagram. He's a great dude and a talented artist. And because we've reviewed nothing but bangers on the channel lately, you can expect some, let's say, negative reviews soon. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.